The office was quiet, too quiet. I was sitting at my desk, the same desk I'd sat at for 15 years, staring at a spreadsheet I didn't care about. Outside my window, the city hummed, cars, people, movement. But inside, I felt nothing. Not sadness, not anger, just emptiness. I was 54 years old, vice president of operations at a Fortune 500 company, six-figure salary, corner office, respect from my peers, everything I was supposed to want. And I felt absolutely hollow. That's when the question came, quiet, unwelcome, undeniable. Is this it? Is this really what I want? And for the first time in 30 years, I didn't have an answer. Welcome to Good Stories Today, your channel for emotional and inspiring stories. Listen while you drive, work, or simply seek inspiration. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Chapter 1. The Life. Everyone expected. My name is Philip. I grew up in Connecticut. Upper middle class family, good schools, high expectations. My father was a lawyer. My mother was a professor. Achievement wasn't optional in my house. It was assumed. Philip, what are your plans after college? Philip, have you thought about graduate school? Philip, you need to think about your future. I was good at meeting expectations, straight A's, captain of the debate team, full scholarship to Yale. And when I graduated, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I got a job at a consulting firm, worked 80-hour weeks, climbed the ladder. At 28, I married Rebecca, beautiful, smart, from a good family. She was everything my parents hoped I'd find. At 30, we bought a house in Westchester, 4 bedrooms, manicured lawn, HOA meetings. At 32, we had our first child, then our second. I kept climbing. Senior analyst, director, VP, more money, more responsibility, more respect. And everyone told me I was doing great. Philip, you've really made something of yourself. Your parents must be so proud. You're living the dream. And I believed them, because from the outside, it looked perfect. But somewhere around my 40th birthday, something started to shift. Not dramatically, not all at once, just a quiet discomfort I couldn't name. I'd be in a meeting, presenting a strategy I'd spent weeks developing, and I'd think, why am I doing this? I'd be at a company dinner, surrounded by colleagues, laughing at jokes I didn't find funny, and I'd feel, I don't belong here. But I'd push those thoughts away, because I was successful. I had a good life. What right did I have to complain? I'd spent 30 years building a life everyone admired, but I'd never stopped to ask if I actually wanted it. Chapter 2. The cracks. The cracks started showing up in small ways. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, not because I wanted to, but because that's what successful people did. I'd sit through client dinners, smiling and nodding, while inside, I was screaming to leave. I'd come home to my beautiful house, my beautiful family, and feel disconnected, like I was watching my own life from the outside. Rebecca noticed, "You seem distant lately." "I'm fine. Just busy at work." "You're always busy at work. That's the job." She didn't push. She never did. Because she was busy too. The kids, her own career, the house. We were both running on autopilot, and somewhere along the way, we'd stopped being partners. We were just roommates managing a household. My son, Jake, was 15. My daughter, Mia, was 12, and I barely knew them. I'd been at every soccer game, every recital, every parent-teacher conference, but I'd been there without being present, checking emails during games, thinking about work during dinner, going through the motions. One night, Jake asked me, "Dad, do you even like your job?" I looked up from my laptop. "What? Your job? Do you like it?" It's a good job. It pays well." That's not what I asked. I didn't have an answer. A few weeks later, I was promoted. Executive vice president, bigger salary, bigger office. Bigger expectations. Everyone congratulated me. My father called. "Philip, I'm so proud of you. You've really made it." My boss took me out to dinner. "You've earned this. You're going places." And I smiled, said thank you, played the part. But when I got home that night and sat in my car in the driveway, I felt, this doesn't feel like winning. This feels like losing. The life I'd built looked perfect, but it felt like a cage. Chapter 3. The Breaking Point. The breaking point came on a Tuesday in October. I was in my office, reviewing a contract, when my assistant knocked. "Philip, you have a 2 p.m. with the CEO. What's it about?" "I think it's about the merger." "The merger? Right. We'd been working on it for 6 months. Late nights, weekend calls, endless presentations, and I didn't care about it at all." I walked into the CEO's office. "Philip, sit down. I want to talk to you about the future." He spent 20 minutes outlining a new role, Chief Operating Officer. More money, more power, more visibility. "This is a huge opportunity, Philip. You'd be running the entire operation." "When would this start?" "January. Which means the next few months are going to be intense. But I know you can handle it." I nodded, smiled, said all the right things. But inside, I was screaming. I left his office and went to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall, and I had a panic attack. Not a mild one, a full, chest-tightening, can't-breathe panic attack. I sat there, head in my hands, trying to calm down. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. Not the job, not the pressure, the life, the entire life I'd built. I didn't want it, and I didn't know when I'd stopped wanting it, but I couldn't keep pretending anymore. I left work early that day, drove home, sat in my driveway, and I called my college roommate, David. We hadn't talked in months, but he was the only person I could think of. "David, it's Philip." "Phil, hey man, long time. What's up?" "I need to ask you something." "Sure. Do you ever feel like you're living the wrong life?" There was a pause. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I have everything I'm supposed to want, but I don't want it. And I don't know what to do." Another pause. "Phil, how long have you felt this way?" "I don't know. Years, maybe. And you're just now saying something?" "Yeah. Man, you need to figure this out before it's too late." He was right. I'd spent 30 years building a life I didn't want, and I was running out of time to change it. Chapter 4. The reckoning that night. I told Rebecca. We were sitting in the living room. The kids were upstairs. "Rebecca, I need to talk to you about something." She looked up from her book. "Okay." "I don't think I can take the COO position." She blinked. "What?" "The CEO offered it to me today, and I don't want it." "Philip, that's huge. Why wouldn't you want it?" "Because I don't want any of this." "Any of what?" "This, the job, the career, the life we've built." She set her book down. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact that I've spent 30 years doing what everyone expected me to do, and I'm miserable." "You're miserable?" "Yes." "Since when?" "I don't know. A long time." She stared at me. "Philip, we have a mortgage, we have kids, we have a life. You can't just decide you don't want it anymore." "I know, but I can't keep doing this." "Doing what? Providing for your family?" "Living a lie." She stood up. "A lie? Our life is a lie." "That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" I didn't know how to explain it. How do you tell your wife that the life you built together feels wrong? I need to figure out who I am, outside of this. "Outside of what? Your family?" "No, outside of the job. The expectations. The version of myself I've been performing for 30 years. She looked at me like I was a stranger. "I don't know who you are right now." "Neither do I." And that was the truth. I had no idea who I was, because I'd spent my entire life being who everyone else needed me to be. Chapter 5. The first step. I didn't take the COO position. I told the CEO I needed time to think. He wasn't happy, but he gave me a month. I used that month to do something I'd never done before. Nothing. I took a leave of absence, told work I needed time for personal reasons. And for the first time in 30 years, I had no schedule, no meetings, no obligations, just time. The first week was excruciating. I didn't know what to do with myself. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. out of habit, then realize I had nowhere to go. I'd sit in the kitchen with my coffee, staring at the wall. Rebecca barely spoke to me. The kids didn't know what to make of it, and I felt lost. But slowly, something started to happen. Without the noise of work, I started hearing myself think. I started noticing things, like how much I loved mornings when the house was quiet, how much I enjoyed cooking, something I hadn't done in years, how much I missed reading, not business books, real books. I started taking walks, long walks, no destination, and I started asking myself questions I'd been avoiding. What do I actually enjoy? What makes me feel alive? If I could design my life from scratch, what would it look like? One afternoon, I was walking through town when I passed a small art gallery. I'd walked by it 100 times and never noticed it. But that day, I went in. The walls were covered in paintings, abstract, colorful, raw, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years: curiosity. I stood in front of one painting for 10 minutes, just looking. The gallery owner came over. "That's one of my favorites. It's incredible. Do you paint?" "No. I used to draw when I was younger, but I stopped." "Why?" "I don't know. Life, I guess." She smiled. "It's never too late to start again." I bought a sketchbook on the way home, and that night, for the first time in 30 years, I drew, not well, not with any skill, but I drew, and it felt like coming home. I'd spent 30 years doing what I was supposed to do, and I'd forgotten what it felt like to do what I wanted. Chapter 6. The Rebuild. Over the next few months, things started to shift. I didn't go back to the COO position. I resigned. It was terrifying and liberating. Rebecca was furious at first, but eventually, she started to understand. "I don't know if I agree with this," she said one night, "but I can see you're different. Lighter." "I am." "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out." I started volunteering at a community center, teaching kids how to draw. I started a small consulting practice, working with nonprofits instead of corporations. I took Jake and Mia on weekend trips, just the three of us, and actually talked to them. And slowly, I started to feel like myself again. Not the version of myself I'd been performing, but the version I'd buried 30 years ago. I didn't rebuild my life to impress anyone. I rebuilt it to finally live it. Conclusion: I'm 56 now. I don't have a corner office. I don't have a six-figure salary. But I have something I didn't have 2 years ago. I have myself. So if you're watching this, and you've built a life that looks perfect but feels wrong, if you've spent years doing what everyone expected, if you're afraid to change because of what people will think, I want you to hear this. It's not too late. You're not stuck. You can rebuild. It won't be easy. People will judge you. Some will be disappointed, but you'll be free, and that's worth everything. This is Good Stories Today, your channel for emotional and inspiring stories. If this story resonated with you, subscribe for more honest stories about identity, purpose, and the courage to start over. Thanks for listening. And remember, the life you're living doesn't have to be the life you keep living. See you in the next story.